So again, very good morning, class. And today in this session, we are going to talk about different types of compositions. Few compositions we had discussed yesterday. Few types. The three types of composition we had discussed in our previous session, that was yesterday. In today's session, now first of all, let us revise what we did yesterday. We had done descriptive composition, narrative composition and argumentative composition. Descriptive, narrative and argumentative composition we had done in our previous session, that was yesterday. Now what is description? Description is describing, whenever you describe anything, then that is description. You can describe any property of any particular thing, any quality, any property of any particular thing, that is description. But narration is actually a type of storytelling in which you narrate about any particular thing. But in narration, you have to keep in mind that properties are not at all required. Instead, the sequence of event is required. You follow a chronology, you follow a sequence that is required in narration. But in description can deal with anything of your choice. Description of any topic can be according to your choice. Anything you want to describe, you may start describing in description. But in description, one thing has to be kept in mind, that when you are describing children, don't forget that you have word limit, that there is a word limit in your composition. Do not forget that. Always remember that you have to decide and describe, that this has to be included, this has to be excluded. When you do this, then only you do a good description, because in description you are not bound to any particular property or any particular you can say opinion or any particular quality of any particular thing. You can describe anything. That is the difference between description and narration. Description can deal with anything, whereas narration deals with only the events that took place in sequence. Now coming to argumentative essay, this was the third type of essay, argumentative essay, which we had discussed yesterday. In this type of essay, children, what we do? We present our argument on any topic in which there might be diversified opinions. So we present our point of view. For if we feel that if we are against that topic, then we put our opinion in such a way that we are trying to convince the person who is reading that yes, we should be against it. If we are for the topic, then we put our opinion in such a way that we are trying to convince the person that yes, it is actually a truth. Whatever the statement says is actually a truth. That is argumentative essay. But remember, in writing argumentative essays, always remember that you have to try and be on one side of the coin. That is, you have to decide whether you want to write for this statement or whether you want to go against this statement. You cannot write for and against at the same time. So before starting the argumentative essay, be very much sure that if you support the statement, then only you write. If you are against or if you oppose the statement, then only you write the opposing the statement. Otherwise, in order to increase the length of the composition, sometimes students they make that mistake of writing both for and against. So that is not correct. In that type of argumentative composition, you are supposed to lose marks. So try to write argumentative composition only when you are fully convinced that you will be able to convince the person who reads by giving various reasons. The reasons that you put forth, you will be able to convince the person. Then only you should attempt argumentative composition. Now this is what we did yesterday. Coming to what we are going to do today. Next type of composition is factual composition. Factual. Now, as the term factual itself suggests, in factual composition, children, what you have to do? You have to write facts about any particular thing. For example, if I give you a topic, say inflation, You have to describe everything related to inflation or the truths that are related to inflation. If I give the topic demonetization, you have to write facts about demonetization. You cannot give your own personal opinions. That is the main quality of a factual essay, that it has to be up to the point. Facts are to be included. You cannot write anything on your own. If you write anything on your own, it will not be a factual essay. Factual essay actually deals with the facts present in the society. So factual essay are those essays in which we present facts or ideas related to any particular topic. Now, next type of essay is personal or reflective. Personal or reflective is that type of essay, children, in which we write about ourselves. Our own personality is reflected in our writing. For example, and the events, the characters, or whatever you can say, whatever quality is discussed, it must be related to oneself. That is the person who is writing, it must be related to that person. Okay, for example, if factual essays are, personal essays are those essays which deals with our hobbies, some of our memorable experiences, or why that was memorable. So those are personal essays or reflective essays. But remember, children, that in personal essay often we tend to deviate from the topic. For example, if we are asked to write about your favorite sport, write about your memorable day at school or on sports field, write about your memorable day spent with your friends. So decide and write what has to be included and what has to be excluded. You should not drift away from the topic. While writing about a day spent with a friend, you should not write about any other day. Stick to that day itself. That is a personal essay. That is, you are describing about your own feeling. Why was that day memorable to you? And you are actually giving account of your personality. That is personal or reflective essay. You can say that being a very emotional person, since my friend took out time for me after a long time, it gave me a lot of satisfaction. That is a personal essay which tells about yourself, your characteristic, your personality. That is, you are an emotional person. That is why you felt very good when your friend took out time for you to spend with you after a long time. Now, these were two types of essay: factual, personal. First was descriptive, second was narrative, third was argumentative, next was factual, then personal. Then we come to the next type of essay, that is storytelling. Storytelling. Now, children, remember, storytelling is somewhat similar to narrative essay. In narrative essay also we tell a story, but in narrative essay somewhat is similar to storytelling, but in narrative essay we might narrate about any particular incident which we might have encountered. But storytelling deals with characteristics are same of narrative essay and storytelling, but we cannot say that they are same. In storytelling, we can form imaginary characters, we can put them, and then we can form a story. But always remember that in storytelling also a sequence has to be there. You cannot write a story without a sequence. So these are the points which we should keep in mind while we are trying to write storytelling, that we should stick to the topic of the story. It should have moral lesson. It should have some sort of lesson. It can be humorous. It can be horror story. It can be a lesson giving story. So we have to keep into account all these things when we are writing a story. Always write simple story. Do not try to overwrite. All these things should be kept in mind whenever we are writing a story. So next, I hope storytelling is also clear. In storytelling also, always remember that we we have to maintain chronology, that is the sequence of events has to be there. It cannot be that you write the incident which took place at the last in the beginning and this incident which took place in the beginning at last. No, you cannot do that. You have to maintain a sequence. Plus, children, always remember that whenever you are writing a story or any type of composition, you should write in very small sentences. The sentences which you write should be small. You should avoid writing big sentences. What happens when you start writing big sentences? You are bound to make more grammatical errors. So in order to avoid those errors, try to write your composition. Try to write yourself, express yourself in short sentences. That is the best way of scoring good marks in composition. Now coming to the last type of composition, that is proverbial composition. Proverbial composition. Proverbial composition. Now what is a proverbial composition? For example, I say that if I give you a topic, every cloud has a silver lining, no matter how bad things get or how worse they look. It is a quote or a proverb, you can say. So whenever, or if I give you a topic, united we stand, divided we fall. So this is also a proverb. So whenever you are writing on any particular proverb, then or any particular quote, then that is known as proverbial composition or statements, or you can say statements. For as I said, that every cloud has a silver lining, no matter how bad things get or how worse they look. So whenever you are writing on any statement or any proverb, that is known as proverbial statement or proverbial composition or statemental composition. Is it clear? Okay. Now we are going to talk about different parts of composition. Now, composition writing simply means does not mean that you have to present your skills or you have to express yourself. So there are certain paradigms on which you are judged when you are writing a composition. First paradigm is obviously your language. Second paradigm is the topic. But the most important paradigm on which you are judged on the basis in your composition, on the basis of which you are judged in composition writing, is how you have presented different parts of composition. Now, parts does not mean that you have to give the heading. No. First of all, children, try to understand this concept that whenever we tell that you have to write composition in different parts, few students, they misunderstand it, and then when they write an exam, they give the heading. First of all, in composition writing, you never have to write it in heading. Now, a heading is not required in a composition at all. You are not supposed to write your composition by putting headings. So firstly, introduction has to be there. When I say that introduction has to be there, it doesn't mean that you have to put the heading introduction. Instead, you have to write an introductory paragraph that will introduce your topic. That is very important, but you don't have to headline it with the term introduction. If you do that, your marks will be deducted because the heading is not required in composition. It has to be just an introductory paragraph. The paragraph should give clear information about the topic which you are going to deal with in the composition. After the introductory paragraph, which comprises of 10 to 12 lines, or you can say 8 to 10 lines. Introductory paragraph comprises of 8 to 10 lines. When you have written introductory paragraph, after writing introductory paragraph, you come to the body of the composition. Now, what is the body of the composition? Now, children, they make this mistake also. They give the heading body of the composition. It is not at all required. Even if you are writing anything which needs to be highlighted, you underline and highlight it, but you cannot headline it. headlining is not at all required in composition. So body of the composition means whatever idea you want to present on that particular topic, you present it in detail. That is known as body of the composition. Now children, firstly try to understand that in composition writing you cannot write a composition on a topic in a single go, starting from the end only in one paragraph. That is not at all to be done. First of all, you will write introduction, then comes the body of the composition, in which you are going to describe about the topic with which you are going to detail, with which you are going to deal in your with which you are dealing. In body of the composition, always remember children that it can contain 3 to 5 paragraphs. 3 to 5 paragraphs. 3 to 5 paragraphs. The body of the composition contains 3 to 5 paragraphs. You can write it in 3 paragraphs. If you wish to, you can elaborate and write in 5 paragraphs. So that is very important, that you should know that you have to change the paragraph. After presenting a single idea, you write the next idea from the next paragraph. That is how you have to write. Then comes the end portion of the composition, that is the conclusion. In conclusion, what you write? Whatever you have written up till now, up till the body of the composition, you sum up into 5 lines. You sum it up in 4-5 lines. That is known as the body of the composition. Is this much clear to all of you? Okay.